Welcome to Bible Coaching. Study the Bible as it has never been exposed before. Go by the book and get the life in the world to come.
Hi, it's Bible Coaching, the experts of Bible secrets. You are watching the video of a training series on how to take your life one step forward using the relationship with God. You are going to learn the most important and basic thing that everyone should know: how to create a relationship with God. Without this knowledge, your life might be very difficult and painful. On the other hand, if you have this knowledge, your life will improve beyond recognition. In the training series on how to take your life one step forward using the relationship with God, you are going to learn to create a relationship with God, a relationship that will give you significant benefits. By creating a relationship with God, you will receive a healthier life. The greatest doctor will be taking care of you. Defense and protection. You will be protected by the strongest defense. Greater success in every field. You will get help from above. You will know how to get things you want or need from God. But before we start, if you don't know us yet, a few words about who we are and what we do. Bible Coaching, an organization with experts in the secrets of the Bible, is a global organization that aims to spread the deepest secrets of the Bible. What does that mean? As you probably know, the Bible is a holy book. The biblical stories are just historical narratives of events that happened. They contain deep secrets. The secrets of creation themselves are hidden within the verses of the Bible, and only those who know what is hidden behind these verses can get these secrets. In other words, the verses of the Bible have several layers of understanding. People generally perceive the simplest level, but they don't see the depth inherent in the verses. So they don't know the secrets, nor have access to the Bible's real power. Bible Coaching is an organization of rabbis who have specialized for many years in studying and explaining the secrets of the Bible. Over the last year, we've been working in more than 120 countries around the world. Thousands of people were exposed to the secrets of the Bible and felt a significant change in their lives. We, in Bible Coaching, believe that every person in the world should have access to the secrets of the Bible, just so he could live his life better. In order to understand the great secrets of the Bible, you need an organized, step-by-step method. The first thing every person in the world needs to know is how to create a relationship with God. By creating a relationship with God, you can get much out of your life. And for this, we have created this special training series, Relationship with God. So, enough talking. Let's begin. The first step to understanding how to create a relationship with God is to understand what the biggest mistake most people make. The biggest mistake people make is create a relationship with God in my own way and on my own terms. If you go out to the street, you will find that most of the persons you meet will tell you that they have a relationship with God, and even a good relationship. What do most people mean when they tell you that? They mean to say that they believe in God and they try to be good people. According to their opinion, God really believes in them and crosses fingers so that they will succeed on their path. That sums their relationship with Him. In other words, the vast majority of people have never asked themselves before about what God wants of them. They decided for Him what is good for them, and they believe He is pleased. It's like a man who brings his wife a birthday gift, a baseball bat. He didn't think for a moment what she really wants and needs. He wanted to give her what he likes. After that, he gets surprised when she is offended, even though he remembered her birthday and brought her a beautiful gift. The same happens with a person who decides to create a relationship with God according to his own understanding of what God wants of him. He decides what he wants to do and then brings it as a gift to God. Look, I did what you wanted. Is there anything sillier than this? Maybe instead of determining for God what He wants from you, just ask Him. In the Bible, you can find all the God's instructions for the humankind. Only sometimes you need someone to help you understand. So what is written in the Bible? In the Bible, there were great people who managed to create an excellent relationship with God, and they did receive consideration for it. They had successful lives. Some had miracles occur to them, all because they had a good relationship with God. In contrast, there were people who failed in creating a relationship with God, and their lives, well, they were accordingly. One of those who failed was Adam. Well, he was not alone. There was also his wife, Eve. What was Adam and Eve's mistake? The mistake was precisely at this point they wanted to create a relationship with God, but on their conditions. When God told them they could eat from all the trees in the garden, but they weren't satisfied and wanted to eat from the tree that God forbade eating from. Instead of accepting God's conditions, they preferred to create their own conditions. The punishment was very severe. They were banished from heaven and had to work hard to achieve anything since. You see, the first thing the Bible wants to teach us about the relationship between God and man is, you create a relationship with God on His conditions, not on your conditions. Anyone who thinks it's possible to create a relationship with God on His conditions He determines repeats the same mistake Adam and Eve made. The first thing we must understand is that the relationship with God begins when we accept His terms, not when we try to bend Him on our conditions. Most people in the world are wrong on this point. They are confident that they have an excellent relationship with God, even though it isn't true at all. God, of course, doesn't bend to anyone's conditions. He expects us to accept His conditions. Then, and only then, after accepting the God's terms without question, we can ask Him what we want. If we internalize this message, we will actually begin walking the right way. Let's stop the race of life for a moment and really think. Do we know what these conditions are? Do we know what the frame He determined is? Or what His rules are? Before we set off, we must make sure we know clearly what His terms are. Every step we make before we know His rules will be for nothing. We'll work hard and get no results. Only if we know what the rules are, we can move to the next stage in the relationship with Him. So, what are the actual rules God set? How do you know them? As we said before, in the Bible we found out about people who created amazing relationships with God, as well as people who didn't succeed doing so. Now we want to show you someone who was able to create a great relationship with God. Slightly more than 1,000 years after Adam, Noah was born. He was born into a corrupt world. Most people at Noah's time worshipped idols. While some believed that the world has a creator, they preferred worshiping idols. Why is that? We talked about the mistake most people make. They want a relationship with God on their own terms. This was Adam and Eve's mistake. And then it was also the mistake of most of the world's people in Noah's time. The people of Noah's generation wanted a relationship with God. Only they decide in advance the Creator as the one who is not interested in them. God is too great to deal with us common people, they said. Like a great leader does not deal with the common citizen, the Creator is greater than the great leader, and He does not deal with each and every person. He isn't interested in what is happening to us, and doesn't care about what is going on. For those things, He appointed CEOs, high ministers, or gods, if you want to call them that way, to look after the people's actions. According to this point of view, people started to worship the idols, and from time to time invented new idols and whole rituals to do for each idol. After a few generations, most people didn't remember the world has a creator. They were busy worshiping the various idols. This mistake started because of the same reason as Adam and Eve's first sin, the tree of knowledge sin, which resulted from the desire to set the rules and relationship with God according to our terms and understanding, instead of hearing from Him directly what He wants from them. Instead of asking God what are the rules to live in His world, people decided for themselves that God is not interested in them at all, so He did not put any rules on how they should live. The deterioration led to something more difficult, a decline in morality. Relationships between people were in deep recession. People murdered and robbed, and the earth was filled with violence. And think for a moment, why not? If anyone can determine the conditions to a relationship with God, if all religious morality is determined by personal values, why shouldn't human morality be determined like that? Why shouldn't I decide that taking something that isn't mine is forbidden? Who sets the rules? Who determines what is forbidden and what is allowed, what is true and what is not? The world was chaos. People behaved like beasts, and only the fittest survived. Then God decided, enough. The world couldn't have continued that way. He decided to bring a flood to clean the world and start all over again. He chose the righteous Noah and his family and ordered Noah to build an ark. Noah builds the ark for 120 years, and then one day he gets an order to enter the ark. Well, everyone knows the story about the flood. The water covered the tops of the mountains. All the people and animals die, and only Noah, his family, and the animals in the ark survive. After a little more than a year, he comes out of the ark and decides to make a sacrifice to thank God. Noah sacrifices a sacrifice, and God promises him, note this, He will not bring another flood upon the world, but He has conditions. The conditions are that all men keep 7 basic commandments. These commandments were named after the person who received them. 7 laws of Noah. The 7 laws of Noah are the most basic rules to being in a relationship with God. Without these commandments, you can't have a relationship with God at all. It's like telling God, listen, help me, save me, protect me, give me everything. Give me food, health, protection, money, success. And in return, I spit on you. It's impossible. A person who doesn't keep the 7 laws of Noah states to God, I have no place in your world, in the world you want. I don't fit the revised world after the flood. That means God promised to preserve the world in exchange for humans retain 7 laws of Noah. A person who doesn't keep those rules and would have lived in Noah's time would not have survived the flood. So, why should he survive now? To start some kind of connection with God, we must keep these rules, the 7 laws of Noah. So what are the 7 laws of Noah? What are the basic rules that God gave Noah and everybody should keep? To better understand, we made you a short movie that explains the 7 Noahide laws and reveal the importance of making the world a better place. Right after the movie, we are going to show you your first step to creating a genuine partnership with God. And there is also a big surprise waiting. So let's let the show begin.
In 1989, U.S. President George Bush signed a proclamation recognizing the 7 laws of Noah as the principles of moral and ethical conduct that have formed the basis of all civilizations. In 1991, a joint resolution of Congress, U.S. Public Law 10214, stated that the 7 Noahide laws have been the bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization. The following presentation outlines the 7 Noahide laws and describes their connection to world unity.
There comes a time as we watch our lives unfold, when the world feels strange, future unknown.
Hello, I'm Jeff Weiser reporting for CBC World News. Last week's unprecedented unilateral world peace agreement, which officially ended all armed conflicts around the globe, has now gone into effect. World peace, once only a dream of religious groups, is now reality. As today, the United Nations reported there were no deaths due to armed conflict anywhere in the world.
Hashem chose us as His glorious design. He'll make this world a better place for you and me.
Today, in medical news, we're proud to report the last mystery of cancer has been uncovered by a British scientist, and the disease has been eliminated from mankind.
In economic news today, the economy soars despite the 12-hour work week, which went into effect last week. The once dreaded .com industry's upturn during the past 6 months has been the needed catalyst to bring the world economy to levels never before seen in the history of mankind.
We are your world. We are your children. We are the ones who show you how to love the life you're living.
This ideal state of being of world peace, everyone can contribute to this one big family. It is our dream to work for it. I think it is possible. I think we need to believe in the possibility of it.
When the world reaches its point of perfection, it'll be that kind of life. There'll be no war, there'll be no hatred, there'll be no hunger, there'll be no poverty, there'll be no tears, there'll be no pain, there'll be no suffering. And everything that's going on now is just bringing the world to that ultimate stage.
How do we get there? We have to refine the world. We have to transform the world. We have to make the world a better place. How do you make the world a better place?
You need to have a system. The oldest and most universal divine system in place is called the Noahide laws. Noahide because they originate from Noah, who was a survivor after a flood that came as a result of a corrupt world. So in a sense, Noah becomes the man, the father of civilization, and sets into motion laws by which civilization should never destroy itself again.
The rainbow is the covenant in which God states that He will not destroy mankind, and it's a covenant between Him and the world. And this shows that God is directly involved with His creatures and that He wishes them to exist.
When He gave these laws to Noah, He said, this is for you and for your sons and for the generations to come. So basically what we're living in now is basically disobeying what God wanted. So ultimately, if we do keep those 7 commandments we were given, we would actually do what God actually wanted us to do in the beginning.
Number one is that there's a God. There's an eye that sees, there's an ear that hears. There's a higher presence in our lives. We're not alone.
This world has a purpose to it, and that purpose is to make this world a dwelling place for God. And each one of us was endowed with a responsibility to bring that about, and every single one of us has a role in that grand divine plan.
The belief in God is the belief that the world has a manager. It has managing principles that are beyond my wishes and my desires. To some extent, there can be nothing more hopeful than that. I believe that the world is a world of chaos and a world of violence. It's a very depressive world.
I was born in China, a culture that doesn't encourage religion, so I wasn't grow up with the concept of God. However, I do believe in some kind of spiritual being that is overseeing our individual life, giving us direction, if only we can listen to it.
Number 2 is respect for the divine. You shouldn't blasphemize God's name. What it really means is, many people can believe in God, but the God is somewhere up in heaven. It doesn't affect how you speak. It doesn't affect how you behave. So essentially, this is about applying it to the way you communicate at the table, in your home, even when you're nervous, even when you're aggravated. God's presence is with you, and you always maintain that type of respect.
It includes also the obligation to pray to God, to communicate with God, to ask of God things, and God listens, as our Torah teaches us, and to develop a relationship with God, a personal relationship with God.
The person cannot be overpowered by an immature idea of God where he vents his anger and frustration against the creator of the universe.
Number 3 is respect for life. Thou shalt not murder. You must respect life, absolutely.
The criteria for murder is not to kill someone who doesn't want to be killed. The criteria for murder is you're not allowed to take a life. Why? Because life isn't yours. It was given to you, something that you have to guard and watch and preserve, but you don't own your own life, let alone somebody else's life. And taking another life of a person whose life wants to be taken, like this whole craze of euthanasia, is biblically prohibited. It's against the Torah to murder another human being, whether or not that human being, even if the human being is willing. You don't own your own life. You're not allowed to take your own life. It's against the Torah. And I want to add one piece of controversy, but a very real controversy. According to Jewish law, within the framework of the 7 laws of Noah, abortion is murder. Killing an unborn baby who would live, if he would be allowed to live, is murder. Unfortunately, in our society, you don't get punished for it. It's almost become a mitzvah, a commandment, like something that shows you to be, what are they called, a progressive human being. But as an individual, there should be a sense of awareness, of conscience, of consciousness. This is taking a life. Life doesn't belong to you. You have no right to destroy it.
Number 4 is respect for family, which means sexual conduct that is not incestuous, that is not abusive.
You can't have a society with simply rampant, unbridled sexual instinct, and so there must be control over the sexual instinct, and sexuality in man has to have an objective, and the objective is procreation. So the Torah cannot sanction an institution where the sexuality is simply self-indulging and there is no benefits for mankind.
Number 5 is respect for property. Thou shalt not steal. So not just respect for someone's life, it's also respect for other people's property.
If I believe that there is a force that unites both of us, then just as I want something, I have to consider that you want something. Just as I own something, then you own something. And just as I want what is good for me, I must want what is good for you. This is the principle of Hillel. What is hateful unto you, don't do unto your brother.
Even if that person will never know you stole from them, and even if that person wouldn't care that you stole from them, you're not allowed to steal. It's wrong. It's against God's principle.
Number 6 is to set up a system of law and order, a justice system of courts, so there's accountability and people have a certain responsibility to themselves and to society.
That entails both people who teach law, shoftim, judges, and people who enforce law, where right and justice is upheld and where evil and wrong is punished. But included within that, there is a whole broad kaleidoscope of particulars that have to do with upstanding morality, like charity, like visiting the sick, like burying the dead, like worrying about the less fortunate and the destitute. And a very significant one, compromise. Don't drive everything to its miserable end. The idea that people should be able to forgive another person.
And finally, number 7 is respect for creatures, which specifically in Hebrew is called Ever min achai, that you shall not eat from the limb of an animal that's alive because it tortures it. So it's respect for life.
In today's world, cultism and belief in magical powers and animals are, by the way, slaughtered, and attempts are made to gain their power, so it is very common in our society. You may not see it out in the street every day, but you read about it and it's there, and this type of a thing is something which has had a major influence on many, many societies.
This is a very humanistic law that you as a human being have to have compassion, not only to your parents and not only to your society, and but also to animals. That you have to have compassion for everyone, for all of God's creations.
The whole purpose of these laws is to make someone, is to reveal the spirituality within each person, and that anyone can relate to, because that's the whole concept of a human being. A human being has that soul within him.
You have a soul. It's a beautiful soul. Why don't you live up to it? And here's how you can live up to it. Here are the guidelines. There are guidelines. There's a blueprint for life. It's called the Universal Blueprint. But we're discussing the Noahide laws. It's a guidebook how to live the best you can live.
And the dream is, my house, says the prophet, will be called house of prayer for all nations. God will be one and his name will be one. That means that all the peoples of the world are going to be united into the great humanity, and united humanity which God intended from the beginning.
There comes a time as we watch our lives unfold, when the world feels strange, future unknown.
Hello, I'm Joanne Chung reporting live from Beijing. We are very honored to announce the new World Peace Alliance signed last week in New York City has been unanimously accepted by officials in China.
We are your world, we are your children, we are the ones who show you how to love the life you're living. Hashem chose us as his glorious design. He'll make this world a better place for you and me. We are your world. We are your world. We are your children. We are your children. We are the ones who show you how to love the life you're living. Hashem has chosen us as his glorious design. He'll make the world a better place for you and me. Yeah, yeah. We are your world. We are your world. We are your children. We are your children. We are the ones who show you how to love the life you're living.
Today, you are entering a new era in your life. And now, for the first time, you create a relationship with God. We are about to sign a declaration of the Noahide, which is basically your partnership agreement with God. You are welcome to get up from your chair along with everyone to access the declaration wall and sign Noahide Declaration. Your signature commits you to keep these rules in favor of humanity as the Creator wishes. It is a historic moment in your life, and you are welcome to capture signing the declaration in your camera. All biggest changes in the world starts with a small action, and it's in your hand now. So come, let's sign the declaration and make this world a better place.
Congratulations, you did it!
Hi everyone, please get back to your chairs. We want to continue and give you our amazing bonus.
Welcome to Bible Coaching. Study the Bible as it has never been exposed before. Go by the book and get the life in the world to come.
It's Bible Coaching again. We want to thank you for joining the large family of Bible Coaching. Bible Coaching is an organization of rabbis whose goal is to spread the Bible's deepest secrets. Today, Bible Coaching operates in more than 120 countries around the world. Thousands of people have already seen a significant improvement in their lives. Now, you can also start to improve your life. The step you just made, signing the 7 Noahide Declaration, was a significant step in your relationship with God. Now that your window of opportunity with the Creator is opened and you can reach more, in fact, the sky is the limit. In recognition of the important step you made, we want to give you a special gift to accompany you wherever you go. We're going to give you the Safeway card that will save you everywhere you go. In the following video, you will discover the meaning of the Safeway card and how to enjoy its benefits. This holy card is extremely powerful, and by using it right, you can enjoy all its benefits, including personal protection from accidents while traveling by air, land, and sea, protection from disasters and natural hazards, protection against the evil eye, blessings and personal protection. First, you will see the rules of possession the card and proper maintenance are. Later in the video, you will see the amazing story of a man who survived a plane crash thanks to the card. So let's start. The card you will get is a holy card. What is the meaning of it being holy? First of all, it means that there are very basic possession rules you need to know in order to use the card. Proper possession of the card is the first step to enjoy its benefits. Now, we will see the important rules for maintaining the sanctity of the card. Number 1, you must not throw the card to the floor in a place where people walk and degrade it. Number 2, you must not scribble on the card. Number 3, you must not use it for any other purpose. Number 4, you must not enter the bathroom with it. If you want to go to the bathroom and the card is on you, make sure it is well covered or put in a wallet. Number 5, you must not sit on it. That's it. These are the rules, and it is very easy to keep them. A person who keeps these rules can enjoy all the card's benefits. But a person who violates the rules and doesn't keep them, not only that the card will not protect him, he is really playing with fire. The card is sacred. Do not violate the rules in any situation. Now that you know the rules, we can show you what the card can actually do and what miracles it can cause. Our story took place in Bolivia in the year 2004. Bolivia, for those who don't know, is located in South America just below Peru. Bolivia attracts visitors who come to enjoy the wild beauty of the spatial jungles from all over the world. The capital city of Bolivia, La Paz, is located in the northern part of Bolivia. La Paz is the highest capital city in the world, and it is located on mountain peaks at 3,500 meters above sea level. There are 2 ways to travel from the city of of La Paz to the south of the country. The first way is called the Death Road. It passes through a narrow passage between the mountains. The road is very narrow and full of distortions and rock avalanches. About 100 people are killed on average each year on the Death Road. It's considered the world's most dangerous road. The second way is by air. There is a small airport in La Paz from which it is possible to fly to the south of the country. The flight passes over Bolivia's huge jungle that stretches for hundreds of kilometers. Dan, an Israeli hiker, came to Bolivia right before Passover. He celebrated the holiday at Beit Chabad in La Paz. Before he left Beit Chabad, he received a guardian card, exactly like the one you keep in your pocket. The rabbi at Beit Chabad explained in Dan how to use the card correctly. The rabbi didn't think that this information will be so critical for Edan. Edan wanted to continue his journey to the south and had these two options. And Dan decided to make the journey south with a light aircraft. Now we will give Edan the right of speech.
Edan, the right of speech.
מלך המשיח העולם ועד. ערב טוב לכולכם. אני קצת מתרגש אבל זה בסדר. הוודקה יתגבר על ההתרגשות. למי שקרא פה בשיחת הגאולה קראו לי ערן, אז קוראים לי עידן.
עוד כמה תעזות היו שמה?
חלק מהפרטים לא כך מדויקים, אני אביא לכם את הסיפור איך שאני ראיתי את זה. קודם כל, יום לפני כן היינו בסדר שני של פסח.
ביום השני.
כן? שומע. ושלא כמנהגי לקחתי את תפילות הדרך. ינקלה שרי לקחת ככה 10-15 תפילות הדרך. זה הכרטיס שהייתי כבר בערך חודש וחצי לא יורד ממני. הייתה לי הרגשה רעה לגבי הטיסה, אני שלחתי SMS לאמא שלי רגע לפני שאני עולה למטוס. איפה המטוס? המטוס מלפז לרורה נבקה, שזה אזור הג'ונגלים. הסיבה שלי לטוס הייתה כי לא לעשות את דרך, מה שנקרא דרך המוות בבוליביה. היא יותר מפחידה, פשוט בשבוע שהייתי שם 2 רוכבי אופניים נפלו מהצוק ונהרגו. בערך כל שבוע אנשים פשוט נופלים מהצוק ומתים. אם זה משאיות, מכוניות, רוכבי אופניים, הולכי רגל. אז אני אמרתי, אני הולך על זה בטוח, לא לוקחים סיכונים, אני טס. בהמראה, שוב שלא כמנהגי, אמרתי תפילת הדרך, כי אני בדרך כלל לא רגע לעשות את זה. אני אדם מאמין, אבל לא אדם דתי. אני יש הבדל כזה. לאט לאט נשחק את כל העדר, איך אמרו לי? לאט לאט מתחזק. אני ובחור נוסף שהיה לידי אמרנו את תפילת הדרך. אמרתי גם בטעות את ותחזירנו לשלום, כי אני לא רגיל, אז קראתי את זה. סיימתי, אחרי חצי דקה בערך סיימנו את ההמראה בגובה 15,000 פיט, שתרגמו לי אמריקאים את זה בערך ל5 קילומטרים. לא שומעים פה, היי.
תגורי קצת שקט, יוכלו להיות אנשים. אולי תקרב קצת, במקום שיצטרכו שם להתגבר על המחיצות והאלמים.
כמו שאמרתי, מיד שסיימתי, סיימנו את ההמראה ואני סיימתי את תפילת הדרך, חצי דקה אחר כך פשוט את המנוע קבע והתחלנו ליפול, פשוט ליפול כמו סלע. היו צרחות איומות ואני, שניסיתי להרגיע אותם, אמרתי להם, מטוס מנמיך גובה, מה, מעולם לא טסתם? שאנחנו ממש נופלים. ואחד מקדימה, לא יודע בדיוק מי זה היה, ישראלי או אמריקאי, אמר לי, המנוע מת, כדאי שתחגור חגורה. הסתכלתי, באמת ראיתי שהפלופרו זז מאוד מאוד לאט, זה היה מטוס ססנה של מנוע אחד, ובערך אחרי כמה שניות של נפילה שהיו נראות כמו נצח, הנהג התעשת והתחלנו פשוט לצלול, שאנחנו ממש צוללים במהירות עצומה, טסנו לכיוון כפר קטן שהיה למטה. אגב, נפלנו בערך 3 קילומטרים.
כמה אנשים יש במטוס?
מטוס, היו בו 11 אנשים. אני פשוט אספר לכם הכל ברציף ואז תשאלו אותי שאלות. נפלנו אל עבר הכפר היחיד שקיים בכל הדרך הזאת. מיד אחרי המראה בלפס, שלפס נמצאת בגובה של 600 מטר, מיד לאחר ההמראה יש את הכפר הזה עם הכביש, ואחריו בעצם הרבה מאוד הרים, מצוקים, אין שום כפר, שום יישוב, שום מקום שאפשר לנחות בו, ואת רור הנבקה שנמצאת שעה טיסה מאיתנו, 20 שעות נסיעה ברכב. למזלנו המנוע מת בדיוק מעל הכפר הזה. אנחנו ניסינו בעצם לנחות על בעצם נפלנו, התחלנו פשוט לצלול, וכשראיתי שאנחנו באמת בלי מנוע והולכים למות, אמרתי שמע ישראל. פלא, פשוט דעה מעל הכביש כאילו יש לו מנוע. זה היה, לא היה נראה לי הגיוני, כי נפלנו מטוס מלא בדלק, מלא בציוד, מלא באנשים, נפל בלי מנוע כרגע 2.5 קילומטרים, והוא דואג קצת מעל הכביש, מנסה לנחות. זה היה כביש מהיר של מכוניות שבאות מקדימה, מלפנינו, וכולם פשוט ברחו לתוך הוודיות בצדדים. אנחנו פגענו בכביש כששני הגלגלים שלנו מתפוצצים, שני הגלגלים הקטנים בצד המטוס מתפוצצים, ושוב קפצנו באוויר אל הוואדי שליד. הכביש של הוואדי שמשמאל, בדרך ימינה פגענו ברכב שהתהפך לתוך הוואדי מצד ימין, המשכנו וסיימנו בוואדי מצד שמאל, כשאנחנו נוחתים בין שני חריצי ענק באדמה, שאם היינו לשנייה אחת נכנסים עם אחד מהגלגלים, אם זה המכוון או אם אלה שמצדדים, לתוך אחד החריצים האלה היינו מתהפכים, וכנראה לא הייתי יכול לספר לכם את הסיפור הזה כרגע. בגדול 11 אנשים יצאו כולם בריאים ושלמים מהמטוס הזה. לי היה חשש לצדק בגב, אני חושב שאין לי שום דבר, באמת. כולם בריאים, כולם שלמים, כולם לקחו ממני את תפילות הדרך שיום לפני כן לקחתי לחלק.
כולם היו ישראלים יהודים?
לא, היו 4 ישראלים יהודים, גם הבריטים שמרו את תפילת הדרך, בשבוע לאחר מכן שהם באו לבקר אותי בבית חולים, גם בית חב"ד היו שם, והבחורה הבריטית הוציאה את המשיח ואמרה לחבר'ה בחב"ד, זה הציל את החיים שלנו, אני שומרת את זה. היא לא יודעת מה זה אומר בעברית, היא לא יהודייה, אבל מבחינתה זה הציל את החיים שלנו. עכשיו אם אתה רוצה לשאול אותי שאלות, אני אשמח.
אדוננו,
If you've seen the power of the card, you know you got a powerful tool that will give you the best protection possible. As you see, the card you are holding has 2 sides. One side there is a written prayer, and the other side has a picture of Rabbi Milobovich. We will focus on the importance of the rabbi's picture. In the rabbi's picture, we notice something very important: the rabbi's hand. If we get closer, we can recognize that in the rabbi's hand there is a beautiful face of a baby. The 2 holes between the second and third fingers are the eyes. The nose is underneath and the mouth is a little lower. Do you see this? Amazing, huh? What is special about the baby? We know that a baby comes into the world totally pure. He didn't do even a small sin. He is completely clean and 100% pure. In the Kabbalah books, it is written that whoever has a baby face on his hand is a holy person who is clean of sins, a man who for all his life has not failed once in sinning and remained pure as a newborn baby. Such righteous people have many powers they receive from the Creator, the ability to change reality and bend it around. About such righteous people, it is written in the books of Kabbalah, the righteous decrees and God fulfills. A person who holds the rabbi's picture receives a blessing and the best protection. The rabbi, surely the greatest Jewish leader in the world today, is a great genius who rules many fields of knowledge. He knows more than 26 languages, and he is a great person who advises leaders from all over. The rabbi is also a great saint who did thousands of miracles to date for people all over the world. The rabbi said about his picture, "When somebody looks at my picture, I look at him back. Don't believe? Well, here's one of the stories to illustrate the point. A few years ago, there was a French businessman named Leon. He lived in Paris, and after many years, he had no children. Then he received the rabbi's blessing and had a daughter born. In every business trip to New York, he would meet the rabbi to ask for a blessing. A few years later, the girl got sick with a bad disease. They had to take her to a hospital. He and his wife did shifts at the hospital attending to the sick child's care. One day, after a long shift at the hospital, the situation was bad. He felt like he was going to lose his only daughter, born by the rabbi's blessing. He returned home and sat in his living room, sad and desperate. He looked up at the opposite wall, and there was hanging a picture of the rabbi smiling. He looked at the picture and shouted at the rabbi, "You promised me a girl. Where is your promise?" In anger, he threw his shoe at the picture of the rabbi. After some time, the girl started to feel better without any reasonable reason. Leon went to New York for business reasons, and before the flight back, he went to the rabbi's house. To his surprise, the rabbi opened the door, looked at him, and told him, "I got the shoe on the chest." Naturally, Leon was shocked, but the rabbi went on to ask how the child felt now. Leon apologized and asked for forgiveness from the rabbi, saying he didn't mean to throw the shoe. The rabbi said to him, "You will return home and the child will feel better." And so it was. When he got back to Paris, the girl's condition improved and she recovered completely. This story is an example of the power that the picture of the rabbi has. The rabbi's picture brings you a special blessing and protects you in the best way. As you look at the picture, you will know that the rabbi looks back at you, and you can ask him for help, a blessing, or anything you want. Now that you understand what is so special on one side of the card, we want to show you the other side of the card, on which the prayer of the road is written. In order to get the card's special protection, you have to say the prayer for the road. When should you say the prayer for the road? If you travel by car, you should start praying as soon as you go about half a mile out of the city, beyond the city's last houses. If you are on a flight, say the prayer of the road immediately after takeoff. If you are on a boat, say the prayer of the road after leaving the port. Another important thing, if you intend to return on the same day, say the wording, "and bring us back in peace," written in the prayer of the road. How should you say the prayer of the road? First things first, you need to make sure your hands are clean. If they aren't, wash them. Second, make sure there is no bad smell in the air. If there is such a smell, move away to an odorless place. Third, the prayer should be said concentrating on the words and their meanings. So turn off all the noisy and distracting things in the area. Now to the prayer itself. The best to do is say the prayer while standing. If you can't say the prayer while standing, at least stop the car near the side of the road. If that's not possible, you can say it while traveling. Say the prayer aloud, at least so that your ears would hear what you were saying. If there are people nearby, it's best for them to say the prayer themselves. If that's not possible, let them at least hear your prayer and answer Amen. That's it. Now you know how to say the prayer of the road. Make yourself a permanent rule. Every time you travel, don't forget to say your prayer. It can actually save you. Now, as we promised, a story. The following story illustrates two important points. Number one, the power of the prayer of the way. Number two, the danger in disregarding the card's sanctity. This story was published several years ago in Israel. Eilat, the southernmost city in Israel, is just a few hours' drive from the central cities. Two friends from the center of the country traveled towards Eilat. On their way, they picked up two girls. One was a 20-year-old and the other was younger, 16 years of age. When they started driving, the 16-year-old took out the prayer of the road and began reading the prayer. The driver turned to her and asked, "Do you believe that crap?" The driver asked for her prayer card and then tore it into pieces and threw them out the window. The girl tried to stop him. She claimed the holy card mustn't be degraded. But the driver canceled everything, laughing out loud. "It's all nonsense. There is no holiness in this." Besides the girl, there were 2 more passengers in the car. The driver's friend, who was sitting next to him, and the second hitchhiker. They chose to ignore the argument and were just looking at the naive girl in a pitiful look, saying, "You'll grow up. You'll learn not to be so naive, walking with your eyes closed after your belief." The trip continued, and then, just before the city of Beersheba, in one of the curves, the driver lost control and veered off the road. The car rolled over several times and finally fell into a deep ditch alongside the road. The rescue teams arrived at the scene and discovered a horror show. The vehicle was completely crushed. All the passengers were killed instantly. All of them, except one girl who came out without a scratch. The girl who had said the prayer is the only one who was saved from the accident. The story that was published a few years ago created a great awakening in Israel, and more people began saying the prayers of the road. Understand this: the prayer of the road saves lives. It's not just a belief, but a proven fact. For your personal safety, it is important to keep the card close to you, and every time you go for a long ride out of town, don't forget to say the prayer of the road. You will see that it will protect you. So now you know when and how to say the prayer of the road. You also understand the prayer's great importance. Today you start a new era in your life, beginning to create a relationship with God, and you are really born again.
Hi, it's Rabbi Nes Kamon from Bible Coaching. I personally want to welcome you to Bible Coaching Members Club. We would like to give you more updates, benefits, and coupons, and we will do so in the Club U app. Please download the app, and in the registration screen, follow Club number 7. Just after, you will get the coupon for the Safeway card. Show it to us, and we will gladly give it to you. God bless you, and we will stay in touch. Thank you, and bye now.